Insights channel, Steve here, and today I'm going to read to you some of the time about a very interesting topic, and that is about the possibility that our earth is not what we've been told at all. And I know that those in power, they know already, they know the same things that I know. And I'm talking about our earth being hollow. Yes, it's round, it's a sphere, but it also has another world inside it because it's hollow. And one of the places where that's very evident is in the book of Enoch, chapter 22. So I'll read to you what it says here in the book of Enoch, chapter 2. This is from my book, ENOCH INSIGHTS, to give an idea where it's talking about hollow places. Chapter 22, Enoch speaking here. And thence I went to another place, and he showed me in the west another great high mountain of hard rock, and there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide, very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, deep and dark to look at. Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and he said unto me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein. Yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. Comment 1. These hollow places must be very large indeed, if they can contain all the souls of men who have ever lived. Comment 2. Hollow places. Most people today believe the earth is solid, as taught since about 1950 in the science community, without giving any proof whatsoever. It makes much more sense, however, that the earth is actually hollow. Why? Well, most things in nature are hollow, in order to contain other things within themselves. The earth is stated to contain hell, paradise, Tartarus, many other lands. So isn't it logical to deduce the earth must be hollow in order to contain these other places? Now you can see in my book in Appendix 14 and 15 for more on the hollow earth and inner earth. Comment 3. I know that most of us have probably thought that these above mentioned places are spiritual in nature rather than physical. However, what if they are in fact both, part spiritual and part physical, and thus they do need some space? Thus a hollow earth would be more suitable to contain all these places. Comment 4. If one thinks about it seriously, we ourselves are partly physical, partly spiritual. It's been stated that there are many dimensions, some going up, some going down. The higher dimensions are more spiritual and the lower ones more physical. Verse 3. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, until their period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them. Revelation 20:13. And the sea gave up the dead that were in it, death and hell delivered up the dead that were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Verse 4. I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead, and their voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And then I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, this spirit, whose is it? Whose voice goes forth and makes suit or implores? Verse 5. And he answered me, saying, this is a spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew. And he makes his suit against him, till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men. Comment 5. His seed is annihilated. This would appear to be talking about Satan's seed. 1 John 3:12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, Satan, and slew his brother. Wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. Yeah, that's another topic there where you can prove that Cain, the firstborn of Adam and Eve, was not actually fathered by Adam. He was fathered by the devil. And that's the real reason Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Nothing to do with just eating an apple. Yes. Joshua 1:22. And Abel answered Cain, saying, Surely God, who has made us in the earth, he will avenge my cause, and he will require my blood from thee, shouldst thou slay me. Think of it for a moment. Who slays his brother just for going through his field? Unless you're a totally demon-possessed bastard like Cain was, who was a son of Satan. Yes, unfortunately, the beginning of the creation with Adam and Eve didn't get us onto the right footing, did it? The first child ever born was a murderer and demon-possessed. It's a sad story, huh? Joshua 1:22. And Abel answered Cain, saying, Surely God, who has made us in the earth, he will avenge my cause. He will require my blood from thee, shouldst thou slay me. See what the great Josephus from the 1st century mentioned about Cain. Antiquities of the Jews, Josephus 2:2, concerning Cain. He augmented his household substance with much wealth by raping and violence. He excited his acquaintance to procure pleasures and spoils by robbery, become a great leader of men into wicked courses. He also introduced a change in the way of simplicity wherein men lived before, was the author of measures and weights. Was Cain the very first of the evil and corrupt murdering merchants? Verse 6. Then I asked regarding it and regarding all the hollow places, why was one separated from the other? And he answered me and said unto me, These three have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there are the bright springs of water, and such has been made for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Comment 6. 4 distinct places for the different types of the dead. 1. A hollow place to implore God for revenge by the righteous, and where there is also paradise inside the earth. 2. Limbo, another hollow place for the undecided. 3. Hell, hollow place for the unrepentant sinners. 4. Lake of fire, hollow place for the very wicked. Here their spirits, verse 8, here their spirits shall be set apart in his great pain, to the great day of judgment, punishment and torment of those who curse forever, and retribution for their spirits. There he shall bind them forever. Comment 7. This last verse seems to be talking about the very worst spirits, who, like Satan, will end up being cast into the lake of fire. As mentioned before, cursing was originally started by the fallen angels, and those who curse and swear do it by the power of bad spirits or demons, whether people know it consciously or not. Verse 9. And such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosures concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Comment 8. Special hollow place, for all the souls have been slain who implore God for vengeance. Revelation 6:9. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they held. Revelation 6:10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Verse 10. And such has been made for the spirits of men who are not righteous but sinners, who are complete in transgression, and that of the transgression they shall be companions. But their spirit shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Comment 9. This sounds like a very great multitude of unsaved peoples who will not live during the coming millennium, but will be awakened after it, at the great final judgment of the white throne judgment of God. They were not judged at the coming wrath of God, because they'd already died in ages gone past. Revelation 25. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Verse 11. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who rules forever. This section is taken from the appendix of my book, ENOCH Insights, about the hollow earth. Chapter 77, Paradise. Is it just possible that 1, the original Garden of Eden was located inside the earth? 2, that after the flood mankind came to live on the outer surface of the earth? There is evidence that not only are there cities inside the earth, but there are the remains of ancient cities built long before the Great Flood. Yeah, you can read some amazing books, and one of them is a book called Journey to Hell by Alan Trenholm. Fantastic book. Gives a lot of information. He states that he went on a spirit trip down through the crust of the earth while riding on a horse, and he travelled widely inside the earth, visited both paradise and hell. Whilst riding the horse down in hell, through many strata of the earth's crust, just before entering the inner earth, he states he felt a clammy hand reach out and grab his leg, which was presumably one of the spiritual inmates of hell itself. His spirit guide explained to Alan the clammy hand that he felt was belonging to one of the rock people. When Alan asked his very first question, who are the rock people? The explanation given is what gives it all away concerning when man moved from the inner earth to the outer earth. She explained that the rock people were spirits of the people from before the flood, who were buried in the rubble of their former cities and in imprisonment in the strata of the earth, because they didn't honour God. Instead, they honoured themselves and their cities, often built with the price of human blood and sacrifice. The incident mentioned about a being that grabbed Alan's leg happened just before he entered the inner surface of the earth, howbeit in the lower dimension of hell. The important point here is it shows that being was buried in a rubble of cities on the inside of the earth, not the outside. From this we can indeed deduce that as the first cities of man were built on the inner surface of the physical earth, it is much more likely that mankind first came onto the outer surface of the earth where we live today after the flood of Noah's time. This is just one example concerning cities inside the earth and the rubble of ancient cities. There's a lot of ways to prove it, many stories. See the dramatic, amazing, insightful book, Journey to Hell, or it was used to be called Journey to Graggle, by Alan Trenholm. Amazing, really is an amazing book. You can't learn enough from that book, really, about the inner spirit world and hell. This could also explain why much of the book of Enoch and the topography of the earth as described by Enoch sounds like when he was actually describing the earth, most of the time he was actually talking about the inner earth, because at that time is where he lived before the Great Flood. Remember that Enoch has talked about dinosaurs and dragons and large creatures, both sea and land monsters. He's also talked at length about a land of 1,000 mountains, often volcanic in nature, something simply does not exist today, at least not on the outer surface of the planet, as we now know it today. He's also described trees as being exceedingly high, unlike the trees in our modern world. He also went to the ends of the earth and saw the northern polar entrance. Enoch states that the seas only occupied 1/7 of the earth's surface. Sounds like a very different world as being described by Enoch. Today, the outer surface of the earth where we live is 80% seas, at least. What a contrast that is. I think we can only live on 3% of the planet. The rest is deserts as well as oceans. I believe that Enoch also visited the uninhabited outer surface of the earth where we live today. We know from Enoch's book that he also visited both the higher dimensions of heaven itself, as well as the lower dimensions of hell and lake of fire. To learn a lot more about these fascinating topics, I highly recommend the above mentioned book by Alan Tranholm, Journey to Hell, about hell, the lake of fire, demons and fallen angels, as it gives an amazing amount of insightful information about the lower worlds and the future of our planet. He also wrote another book. His first book was about heaven, and that was called Journey to Tricon, or Journey to Heaven now. Another amazing book about heaven and what it's like. Fantastic stuff. Another book well worth getting hold of. You'll learn a lot from it if you do. Well, so, I have written more about the hollow earth. I have written more about the inner earth, but I won't get into that now. But I would encourage people to get hold of my book, ENOCH Insights. That's book 1, as it mentions about the hollow earth. That is chapter 22, where Enoch's talking about these hollow places inside the earth. Well, thanks for listening, and I would encourage you to go on my website, which is www.insightspublication.com, as I'm always putting interesting articles on there, and often links to amazing videos of what others have discovered. Incredible discoveries. Incredible things are going on. I'm hoping that on my website I'll be able to put together hundreds and hundreds of video links where you can see a lot of the history that we've been told is utter nonsense, being lied to about everything. Nearly all of history is just one big lie of what they've said. The real truth is something totally different. And they've kept people in the dark for centuries. But you can see some of those things. Some of those articles are, and the links are on my website, www.insightspublication.com. I think you'll find it fascinating to see what others have discovered. Others have gone to great length to find out what's really happened in history. So, thanks for listening. And again, I encourage you to see my other books too, because I have 12 books, 10 insights books and 2 on the paranormal, out the Bottomless Pit books 1 and 2. You've got ENOCH Insights book 1 and 2, JASHER Insights book 1 and 2. You've got EZDRAS Insights, 2 books on that. And you've got Testimonies of the 12 Patriarchs Insights. You've got Wisdom Insights, about the Holy Spirit being female. So you've got lots of interesting books there to read, and I would encourage you to get hold of them. You can get them on Amazon, or you can get them from me if you want to. It's a bit cheaper if you get them from me, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great day.